All right. It's been over a week since I played these hands, so I'm not totally sure what I'm walking into watching this back at this point. But yeah, I do remember this spot. It's on the direct bubble of this $200 satellite to the 2K tournament. And Nemeth is limped. He's covering me, and I have a hand where maybe I can raise and make him fold. Because he doesn't want to lose, like, he doesn't want to double me up and then be the second shortest stack. But I decided instead to respect the bubble. It's a $1,000 pay jump in a satellite where there's 2K seats. So I actually checked this back pre-flop and flop top 2. He's going to min-bet stab, and I still think, like, even though I could just jam and get the hand over with and it's probably okay-ish, I decide to instead take this line. Obviously the best turn in the entire universe for us, so we will not fold it even in this situation. And the river is a 7. And now I decide, like, while he could be jamming a bunch here over my bet, I decide I'm still going to want to bluff, want to value bet, whatever. So I just value bet this. And he actually does not even consider raising a 7, which I guess is okay because maybe I'm just going to fold everything. Although, to be honest, I would have neck snapped him with that ace-jack if he jammed on me. This one is a 30 BB spot where I think it's pretty marginal, like to 3-bet this or not, but this dude is like a little bit too much of a spewer. So yeah, you can see me screenshotting this hand. I'm trying to figure out later if I should have 3-bet or not. It was totally fine. It was totally fine. What does he do? He calls me. Ah, yeah, this is an interesting one. So he calls me and he donk rips this random board. And so obviously this is one of the weaker hands I could have here. Like I will still have some no pair hands, but this is one of the weaker hands I can have here. That said, does he really donk rip any value any value hands? It's hard to say. I guess he could have some 9-6 bottom 2 donk jamming, but I do have a BDFD if I'm wrong. I have heart draw equity denial, which I think is relevant because he's mostly shoving with flush draws. But he's going to have middle pair open-ender. Bit of a coin flip. But we win the coin flip, so that's nice. I played a full schedule of MTTs yesterday, and it did not go well. I didn't even win one bounty. Didn't cash any event. Yeah, right now that got busted. I guess I just filtered out all of the hands because they were boring and folding. That got busted, so now we're forced all in. I guess I'll just take a pause before the river drops. I'll explain what happened in the game. So this guy had 1 BB, he ended up busting, and me and this guy were very similar stack depth. This guy covered us, and Nemeth had the chip lead. I decided to go folding all the way down, just hoping this guy would punt or this guy would punt, knowing I would be all in blind before this guy, but also knowing that if I do survive this one all in, he's blind all in the next hand. So I just rolled the dice on that strat. It's not like I folded some nutted aces hand pre-flop or something. Yeah, so now we're all in. If we win this flip, we will win a ticket, and if we lose, we win 1,000. We lose. But GG, I mean, it's okay. Played a couple satellites, made a couple of decent cashes. Not perfect, but whatever. Brilliant music on this site. They've got a variety of different tunes based on how you, or where you get eliminated. I guess that's the satellite theme song. Okay, so now I decided not to zoom in on the table because there's actually going to be multiple hands happening at once. And I felt like, you know, it shows a little bit better what the grind is actually like. You know, you will often have multiple hands going on at the same time and not be able to find the complicated line that you want to take. Because MTTs with all the varying factors like bounties and ICM, they can be pretty tricky. So yeah, we've 3-bet against Simao with kind of an interesting aces, like almost flattable, but it's actually not a flat. I did look this up later. And on the top right table, a board that we can donk with our range, but I don't want to donk with this hand. Against Simao, I decide I have a kind of interesting one. 3 hearts blocking the 6 a little bit, and 8 blocking some hands that can continue and some hands that can complete straights. So if a turn comes like this, potentially I can call down with an interesting hand like this aces and be good. I'm also squeezing aces on the top left table, some really nice hand. Kind of interesting one top right. I kind of don't like my check, but I don't mind it. It's like a check callable hand, but at the same time, if I let an overcard like Queen Jack King Ace roll off on the river, I'm probably losing the pot like 90+% of the time. Anyway, Sui's going to bet, and I'm not going to fold. Over on the right. And Joao Simao is going to barrel into us on the bottom left. So some complicated action going on all at the same time. Make the nuts top right. Simao half-potting the river. I decided this guy's a bit of a fish. You know, he could just bluff with spades and stuff. So I pay him off, and he obviously has the nuts. On the top left table, I just open jammed the flop, and we ran into a set from Mr. PX. He does like having sets. And he busts us. The sad music comes in. That's appreciated. I was feeling sad. And yes, he's bet 21 BB on the river, and I have to make a decision for what kind of sizing I raise. It's not that hard for me to have pocket 8s or pocket 9s in my hand, so I decide I'll go for a larger raise. In some spots where like it's just full polar, like say the river was a jack here and 4-5 is the nuts, and I have some combos that check call but not many, I would probably check min raise the river in that situation. But anyway, I raised larger there, and he did not pay. This one is an interesting hand against Martin Dam. I think this is in the 1K main event or high roller main event, whatever the fuck. Check on flop. I'm the pre-flop raiser. He's in the big blind. So one of these players to the left. Actually, no, that's not true. He's under the gun and I flatted the button. My bad. My bad. Anyway, I'm going to check back flop and take a third pot stab on turn. So like repping a lot of overpairs and stuff. I'm making a delayed stab for third. And then this hand, it unblocks reasonably well. Like, it doesn't block the jack incredibly, but I still think this is an automatic bluff. Just a question of sizing and what my value range is. I think it's too marginal to be betting, like, pocket kings on the river. So I consider, like, a pot bet and maybe betting kings, and I'm like, no, this is stupid. Like, I'm full polar to a jack or a checked back set or a turned set. So I'm going to overbet here and put more pressure on his aces and get paid more when I have it. And I feel like this bluff is okay. So yeah, actually I'm going to skip through because I remember he time banked a reasonable amount. But he does call me with an interesting hand. I think it's a good standard call. So he has a 7 blocking the turn sets. He also unblocks a lot of potential hands I can bluff with all of his cards. Like the only card he holds that's slightly negative is a 5. And it's very slightly negative. Like it's really not a bad thing. Decides to call me down, and he's good. So kind of interesting hand there between the boys. Over here, just standard amazing spot. You cover 2 people for bounties, and you squeeze it up. So yeah, I clicked auto call there for a second, but I realized that Carlsen has slightly more chips, or potentially has slightly more chips. So I'll be very tilted if he somehow doesn't get busted for 0.3 BB. It's not very possible, though, for him to fold post-flop for 0.3 BB, but still, get him to put it in pre. What do they have? Aces, obviously. Carlsen has some hot dog shit here. Some hot dog shit. That is not a good hand, brother. So we're beating Carlsen in the flip, but drawing dead in the other one. And I saw the river. I was like, God damn, he hits trips, this motherfucker. But actually, I have king, 8. So I win the 0.5 BB and the bounty. So not an amazing spot, but we get a little consolation prize. Over here, this is the 2K tournament. So this is a 2K bounty. This is a really cool tourney. We overcall pre, king 9, 4-4, king suit, standard stuff. Flop a set. Pretty amazing. I think I low rolled because I would actually donk here with this hand a decent amount. Button is going to bet half pot. And I'm also rolling here. There are some middle sets that I wouldn't raise at all, but this one has some pretty good turn cards, you know, like a diamond, a jack 10. Like my hand can be pretty golden, so I decided to go for the check raise this time, and he is going to have a think. He is not going to fold. I guess I wouldn't put this hand in if he was about to fold to my flop check raise. So yeah, he doesn't fold. And now kind of an interesting decision. Like a bunch of our hands can just jam here. But Sui, he stabs a lot, like when you check raise flop and check turn. And I just felt like my hand's so nutted. I'm just going to see if he does like his stab thing. Plus, I can rep some polar bluffs that give up here. So like I could check raise flop with like some 3-3-4, 5-5-4, queen 5-5 shit, whatever, and decide to check turn. And then like I could still bluff those on the river, and obviously this hand doesn't really care what the river is too much. So he's got a small stab, and this is the part I didn't really plan for, because like half of me wants to just call. I'm going to pause it here. Half of me wants to just call, but when I do this, I think my continuing, like I just don't see him barreling the river with a bluff often enough. I see him taking showdown with like some random stabbed hand way more often, and just hoping that he beats like my straight draw, like my open ender or something like that. Like if I deuce 3-3-5 or some shit, you know, maybe he just checks back a river with a pair of whatever, turned sevens, like, you know, just some random hand. So I felt like, fuck, probably just got to jam. So I did jam. I kind of wanted to trap. You can see my mouse hovering on the call there. So, fuck it, jam. What does he have in the 2K tournament? Obviously top set. But can we hit the river? No, we can't. So he stacks us for like the third time today. We wish him a reasonably sarcastic good luck and move on to whatever this pot is. All right, this is a kind of interesting one. So Martin squeezes, Nemeth the PFR calls, Koholikmies folds after calling the initial open. Kind of interesting. I decided to screen cap this. I'm just curious what the EV is. I don't think it's foldable. But yeah. A call. And yeah, we flop sort of something. And Martin is going to find a 20% c-bet. Nemeth snap folds, and it's over to us. Do we want to peel with this hand? Do we want to just fold? I decided to peel, because I think that this hand could be reasonable to bluff a future street. But then the turn is a second flush card. And I think, he finds a check. And we got to think, like, is this the turn card that we want to bluff with this hand? And I just don't think it is. He's going to have way more continues now. Like, for the aces and kings that he c-bets, he's going to have more that now have a draw and aren't folding. So I felt like I would just be overdoing it if I decide to make a stab with a hand like this. Also, the sizing I would want to use when I have value, it's going up now. At least this is how I play the spot. So I don't really want to stab this hand at all. I basically have just called to realize my equity and take my showdown value. I could choose to bluff this river if he checks. So let's see what he does there. But I do not think that it makes any sense to bluff this run out with this hand, which does have some amount of showdown. So yeah, have a brief think, but just check. And if he has anything, he wins. If he has garbage and gave up, that would be greatly appreciated though. He does not. He has ace of spades, aces. But that's okay. We move on to the hand we're playing at the same time. Another squeezed pot. This time we have the aces. This is... wait, what is this? So we didn't get stacked in the 2K. We just doubled him. So I have like crumbs left. I have crumbs left in the 2K. I mean, these crumbs turning into like 80 plus BB here would be absolutely fantastic though. But yeah, we've put our bounty on the line here. 5 into 76. We shouldn't be expecting folds. Patrick Leonard is going to fold flop with two dudes behind him in low SPR. It's kind of an interesting decision. Like he's getting, wow, like a really ridiculous amount to 1 on the call plus my bounty, and he covers everybody. Anyway, I bet Suhe raises. Please don't have it. Has it again. We could hit an ace. Do you guys think I'm going to hit an ace? Doesn't feel like it, right? Yeah, I don't. GG. G fucking G. Sad music. Yeah, sad music's not bad. Oh, aces again. What a fucking aces magnet. Although this could be a recipe for getting stacked, if it's anything like the last one. So Rainbow AA, do not care. Fold if you want, mate. Don't really mind. Pump it up. Are we just going to get stacked in every pot we play? Let's see. The man wishes us goodbye and a bad beat incoming. I think that's a bit of karma. We do hit top set. I'm not sure what emoji I want to use. Like, it feels a little bit too face up, but it's also just like a spot where both players kind of know what's going on a lot. And like, I could still have, you know, some top pair hands, you know, that are happy when he folds flop. So whatever. I don't think he folded because we emoted sorry in that spot. Anyway, now we move on. We're back to this. This is the $500 buy-in bounty event. It's a great tournament, man. It's a fucking great tournament. We've opened the button, covering the big blind. We've been 3-bet by a dude who covers us, so not really perfect. But what can ye do? We got the top pair, gutter, and over pair, so just really is an unfoldable hand. A little bit of a question about how we want to proceed. He's going to half pot us. And yeah, what do you guys think here? SPR 3.3? I consider calling, but I just have a feeling that this is just a pure jam. And yes, it's awful if he has like aces with the flush draw, you know? But it's just so bad to let equity roll. He's got queen, queen, 5-5 flushy. He turns a set though. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Unless, of course, the river is a 3. So we somehow scooped this monster pot back from the jaws of death here. And we have a monstrous, monstrous chip stack now. 180 BB. Interesting one here. A Grishuk 150. And a man with a bounty and 42, 43 BB. 3-bets him from small. I don't want to cold 4, but I actually just don't want to fold either. If Grishuk back raises, it is interesting because we're pretty capped here. So like if he has ace, queen, queen, he could be back raising and stuff, but I don't know. I can't remember what his bounty is. The reason I don't show it is because he's about to fold pre-flop, which is extremely surprising, but I guess there are some combos that want to do it. I consider apologizing in advance to the fish, but then I realized that kings may just be good anyway, so I was like, ah, fuck. I'm not apologizing for the 7 deuce. But kings were good. He does flop a flushy though, but we could eliminate him 77.5% of the time. And we do, because the river can't be an ace when it's a diamond, because he has the ace of diamonds, and it's obviously not a heart, which is only out. So yeah, we take another 125 bucks off the man, increase our bounty size, and straight into another ridiculous looking spot where apparently we call pre-flop with 10-7-5-3. The reason we call is because a man re-raised all in and it couldn't be re-raised from the big blind, and he has a $200 bounty approximately on his head. So almost half a buy-in. The button, I cover all players in this pot. The button jams here, and we have middle pair, a gut shot, and a BDFD, and he's pot jamming. So I could win 2 bounties if I call here and I'm correct. They could obviously have, you know, some really good hands that I suck against. That is a hand that I'm not doing too well against. And the big blind has a super hand. I turn my straight, but it's actually no good because he has 10-8. And I have a flush draw. And that's also no good because he has the nut flush draw. So a very unfortunate hand to be up against from this Jedi man. And he is going to collect both of the pots. So 0 bounties for the boy. Could have been an absolutely amazing one to win, but whatever. Can't really whinge. Next hand, we got another big one. We really want this guy's bounty, 345 bucks. That's amazing. With that in mind, with the fact that I want his bounty quite badly in mind, I think I should have played this flop aggressively, protecting my hand and my equity, and just forcing him to get all in, you know, a little bit easier. So like a lot of turns I could go broke on, like making 2 pair with a straight draw and stuff. So yeah, I think I should have just c-bet, you know, not let some shit card roll off. But I decided to play it as a bluff catcher for, I don't know, it feels more like a cash game kind of line that I'm taking here. I think it's probably not amazing, but anyway, I take the bluff catch line. I end up rivering 2 pair with a straight blocker. So he checked back and bet the turn half pot. So lots of the hands that he's repping for value, like low 2 pair, I do beat now. He probably checks those back. He's going to time bank a bit. He bets slightly over the pot. And yeah, so he's kind of saying he's polar to like having a set or better. I don't think he's going to be able to check back a set on the flop, this random fish. So he's saying he has deuces. He's saying he has 5-3 or 5-7. I think my bluff catcher is okay. I call. And he has 9-7-7-5. So completely random turn bet with pocket sevens and an open ender and hits it on the river. So yeah, tilt. But that's fine. Next hand, 3-bet. By the way, the guy I'm 3-betting against, Wei Yan, he recently played a 24-hour cash game session at 200-400 no limit holdem, where he had 800 BB, and Linus, who also played a 24-hour plus session, had 1,000 plus BB at a 200-400 deep table. Quite a disgusting game. Anyway, I flop top 3 pair here with a gut shot and BDFD, and I decided instead of c-betting small, which I might want to do with a hand like a set or a straight or aces and a flush draw, kings and a flush draw and a straight draw, where I want him to continue with weaker draws. This hand kind of just wants him to fold or continue with shit equity. He's going to call me Jack 10-10-4, so decently atrocious. Don't think you can afford to make a call like that. And yeah, we just stack him directly and take $300 bounty off his hands. I mean, he is a fish, so it's not a surprise, really. Now the Jedi man wants to give us some action. We open the button. He 3-bet the BB. This is the guy that won that pot with the cooler hand, the ace-10-9-8, with the nut hearts before. And he's just pot c-bet. And I have to make a decision, like, can this guy be c-bet folding in this spot? Because, like, it's a reasonably standard trap. Sets in these post-flop situations, I just decide, nah, there's no shot that these people bet fold, these stupid fish. And he's got a pretty good one. He's got kings with 8-6 open-ender, but we're a favorite. This would be nice if we win. And we win. So we're on a fucking streak of streaks here, running hot. We win another bounty. We have $860 worth of bounties, and look at this fucking dream spot. Under the gun sends it in with his little booty. We have AA, and when a small bounty guy like this is all in, there's a lot of action usually. A lot of action. And this is actually a pretty interesting spot, so I toy around with the idea of raising small. Like I'm noticing, okay, this guy could rejam, etc., etc. But I decided like the SPR is going to be so short with the players behind if I squeeze anyway. And I don't want to risk, say I 3-bet small and this Dos Equis guy just flats. Which he could absolutely do, you know? Because he could play it post-flop. He's still getting a great price. And he can fold off people's equity more post-flop. Also, he can hit, you know? Instead of, and be able to check fold if he doesn't. So I decided I'm just going to pot 3-bet instead of toying around and hoping he rejams. I'm not sure if he would have complied, basically. So I wish the boys well. I pot it up when we go to the flop. I cover everybody. So a reasonable board and we'll be loving life. Is this a reasonable board? Not so much. So yeah, I think starting things off with a check here makes sense. This guy's going to claim the running hot emoji when I'm still thinking about acting. I'm not sure if that influenced my thoughts. I can't recall my thought at the time about that. But yeah, I do think it's a pretty standard check. He's going to snap jam. Can I call that? Like, obviously, if this button dude calls, I'm fucking gone. But can I call this bet? I don't think so. But I don't know. It could be closer than I think, you know. The bounties on the line here are also minimum, so less incentivizing than other ones. I don't think this is close though. Like no BDFD, no gutty, like nothing. Like if we had BDFD, it's already a tough spot. If we had a gutty, it's already a tough spot. Like gutty BDFD, I'm not even sure. I'm happy calling that down. Like if it's low gutty. So yeah, I decided to fold. I won't click skip because I don't know how long it takes me. I don't think it took me too long. Apparently I'm really hurting here. Looking at all the chipperments. Okay, just fold, mate. It's a shit hand. The sad news is I was ahead. Or ahead of that guy, I guess. But he does have a wrap. So, I mean, equity-wise, he's a favorite. Other guy had top 2 for the 50 BB. That obviously influences the decision to fold 2. But yeah, the dude hits on the end with his lovely looking hand. Oh yeah, this is an interesting one. I limp in 10-10-8-6, covering all bounties, including the button, who's pretty short. I decide I can't fold. I limp call him. And we flop a gut shot. With pocket 10s, no BDFD, nothing. Very dusty hand. Very, very dusty. But if he goes all in, would you call? That's the question. He has $344 bounty. $344, you can see me checking the chips, so I checked that out. Okay, $344, that's something like 20,000 chips. That's what I'm thinking to myself. Now I'm looking at the pot. So if he's got an extra 18,000 worth of chips, does that make this a call or not? It probably makes it a call. That's what I end up thinking. I don't think it's unreasonable. He's obviously also shoving some hands that we beat. You know, it's not like we always are drawing at a 10 or a 7. But this time we are. Or backdoor 2 pair. No help on the turn. No help on the river. So yeah, he'll be enjoying himself over there, doubling up. And we lose a decent amount of our chips, but maybe we'll get them back now. This guy's opened. Sorry, this guy's 3-bet pot are open. We have an okay hand. Like in a cash game, this is not a dream spot calling a 3-bet from a short stack. But in this format, it's just standard. It's just standard because they're giving you that extra EV from the bounty. I also decided to check call it off in case he has some sort of hand that actually would fold to a shove. And this time he's going to have an open-ended straight draw, double backdoor flush draw, and bottom pair. We've got him notched though with ace-9. And we bust him out. He'll be absolutely tilted here, this man. Grishuk shows, I think he shows deuce, deuce, deuce. Goodbye. Yeah, he was kind of a rude fish, so I say goodbye to him. Now we're on the direct bubble. I open it up for pot because there's some amount of relevant fold equity. Also, I don't give a shit if the big blind is all in with me, you know? But this guy's going to call in the small, so quite an interesting spot is about to develop. Direct bubble here, which I believe is like 1.5 buy-ins, so 700, 800 bucks. The bubble for this tournament. This man jams from BB. I decide to give the friendly good luck, you know, with my aces that I'm repping and repot. Everyone wishing each other good luck. Just a friendly game here on the bubble. And obviously the fish snap cold calls the 4-bet. So not exactly the spot I dreamt up when I was dealt these cards. And as a result of that, with my limited equity, I decided to just check back. I could just make some small stab, but it just felt not amazing. I'm not really blocking any hands that want to fold at all. Now I turn something though. Like say for example, I decide, I'm going to jam the turn. You know, I can compete with my equity in the main pot. I can fold the fish out of the small pot. I just had this bad feeling, like fish just like being a pussy with queen flush draw is not folding it. I just jam into him and he wins. So I decided I'm actually going to take the trash line of just check back, and pray that we can hit. So yeah, the prayers are answered. We do hit the river. Is it a good enough hand to win the entire pot or even half of the pot? Let's find out. If fish jams here, we're clearly loving life and snapping. Please jam fish. He doesn't do it. So what should I do? Should I bet some retarded sizing, or how do I want to play this hand? Well, my range is extremely polar, double check back, and then jam river. Like I'm repping a straight or a full house for this line. Whatever, I have a straight all in. I know it's the lowest possible straight, but I think checking back is just retarded. Absolutely retarded. Like if I came, say I just didn't hit and the river was like, I don't know, a 7. Oh wait, an 8. Like, I would still jam here because I think I'm taking down the side pot so often. I don't care about letting the other guy double up. But yeah, we're good. Fish folds, and the other dude has ace, king, jack, jack. And he's eliminated on the bubble. I'm not sure about his decision. I mean, he wanted to play for some chips, you know, which is understandable. But maybe calling pre-flop and check folding the flop might have been better. Because, you know, it still means something. to hit on the bubble. This time I open up, I cover everybody behind me, so I'm just trying to stack all their bounties. I don't know about my line here. Like, I take a kind of cash game line of call, and then I donk small on the flop. Like, trying to put his dry aces and stuff in a tough spot. But whatever, we just have some random combo draw. He says running hot, he jams. What is he repping when he uses this emoji combo? Obviously, aces flush draw. So we're 24%, I mean, not incredible. But we do have a straight flush draw. Little 9 of hearts could save us. But yeah, it's not the 9 of hearts. So we lose this pot, 71 BB pot, large bounty. Would have been nice to win it. What can you do? Think standard play. Yeah, back over to the 1K. The 1K document. We have aces, the best hand. 52 BB. The tournament is progressing. Still about 1 hour left in the late registration. And we have the unbeatable ace-ace. And we flop NFD on a king-jack-9. So, kind of interesting spot. SPR, a little bit less than 2, 1.7 or something. I decided to start things with a check. And hope that he bet folds something, basically. He bets third pot. I decide to jam. It's whatever. I don't think calling is better. I think jamming is standard. Not certain about that thought, but seeing the turn, like check calling to see the turn with the 3 spade flush draw doesn't feel amazing. And yeah, we need an ace or a spade. Could be an ace. It's 3. It is not an ace. We lose. Goodbye. More sad music. GG. And with that, we are down to 1 lowly tournament for the remainder of this video. Bracket S bracket. So let's lock in, let's pray. Even though we just doubled this guy up, we're still 2nd place out of 21. I briefly considered 3-betting him to lower the SPR so I can get his bounty, but don't think that's an amazing play with this hand. But certainly a good enough hand to see the flop. So we're going to go for that option instead. But I think this is where our video, this is where our video ends. We're going to have one more video and I'll summarize the remainder of this run. 2nd out of 21 in chips, probably not winning this pot with this hand unless I bluff the river successfully. But yeah, I'm still playing every day. They have this Omaholic series on GG at the moment, and I'm playing every day, at least 10 tournaments, all 200 plus buy-in. The largest one is a 5K, but I'm selling 75% of that. I'm also playing the 2K bounty, but now I've started selling 50% of that just because I don't want to deposit on GG. I'm not selling a markup or any of this shit. But yeah, the 5K is still my largest tournament. It's 1,250 buy-in. The 2K is still my 2nd largest tournament at 1,050 buy-in. And the 1K is my 3rd largest buy-in. I sell 10%, just 1% each to some mates or whatever, basically. Yeah, so I like to keep the biggest buy-in still the biggest buy-in for myself because it's, more enjoyable having, a buy-in that's higher. Anyway, enough rambling. GG, I'll see you in the next video. Let's see how this ends up going. 2 out of 21. Can we get it done? Boy.